What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Marco, and on today's show, I'm sitting in the office today, and we are back in the office, and it's the middle of January. It's ice cold outside here in the Chicagoland area, and I just closed my eyes for just a second, and I started imagining 75 degrees, sun beaten down, cold beverage, and I'm sitting in my seats at Wrigley Field, and I'm watching the Chicago Cubs play baseball. And that's the moment that I decided to do this video series that we're going to start tonight. We are going back to the old faithful, the game that got me into sports gaming, and that is Strat-O-Matic Baseball. And we are going to replay the 2016 World Series in its entirety. So this will be one of, if it goes 7 games, this will be one of 7 videos. I'm hoping the Cubs get it done a little bit quicker this time, but alas, if they go 7, that won't hurt either. Just a couple of things before we head down to the game room. So first of all, this was the game that got me into gaming. I got Strat-O-Matic as a Christmas present one year. I'd kind of heard about it. I was much more of a video game guy. And when I opened that thing up and I saw the box and I started going through the cards, and it was the 2016 season that I got, I was hooked before I even rolled my first die. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do a video series on it. Maybe I will someday if you let me know in the comments down below if you'd like to see this. But I never actually played with the 2016 set. What I ended up doing is I created 8 fantasy teams, and I did a full draft, and here we are now 5 years later, almost 5 years later, and that team, and every year I get the latest set and just put those new cards with their respective teams, and we're about to start my 5th season of what I call my Strat Baseball League. It's 8 teams. LA won the first 2 titles. Chicago won the next 2 titles. It's a wild, wild roster, but I started thinking about it, and I said, I never played the 2016 World Series. So what I did is I kind of undid I actually had to dig out the 2016 version because we're all the way up to 2021 as of the last season. So this upcoming season is going to be the 2022 set. And I was amazed to see how good of a shape the cards are in, given how much I played with them. And I had to I spent like a few hours last night resorting everybody back into their teams. And I pulled out the 2016 Cubs and the 2016 Cleveland Indians. And I decided I will be doing all World Series games. We're going to replay this and see what happens. Do the Cubs win again? Do they break the curse 108 years? Do the Indians win this time? Do they break their curse? There's a couple of players. So here's another thing that's really interesting. There were a few key players that weren't included in the set, one of which is my guy, Kyle Schwarber. Why not? The guy had like 6 at-bats all year, and if you know Strat-O-Matic, you need to have a certain amount of minimum base plate appearances before they make a card for you. So it's going to be really interesting. I wonder how the World Series is going to turn out. So enough of me yapping. Let's get downstairs. Let's get the lineups all set up. I cannot wait to play. It is Game 1 of the 2016 World Series coming next. All right, everybody, welcome down to the game room. It's time to get started for Game 1 of the 2016 World Series between the Cleveland Indians, the home team, the Cleveland Indians. We're coming to you from Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. And our visitors, my Chicago Cubs. Let's see if they could make history once again. So before we begin the game, we got to beat the starting lineup. So I'm going to bring in an app that I've been using for many, many years. It's never let me down. That's the iScore Sports app. Highly, highly recommended if you want good statistics. And we're going to meet the Indians first. And taking the bump for Cleveland is Corey Kluber. A fantastic year in 2016 for the Klubot. 18-9 record, 3.14 ERA in 32 starts, 215 inning guy, 170 hits, 227 strikeouts. Kluber was a fantastic pitcher this season. And leading off for the Indians, it's going to be Rajai Davis, and he's going to play center. Jason Kipnis batting second. He's going to play second. Francisco Lindor batting third and playing short. The cleanup batter, Mike Napoli, he's the first baseman. Carlos Santana DHing because we, of course, are in American League ballpark before the universal DH rule took place. He is batting fifth. Batting sixth, Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez. Got a little mixed up here. Brandon Geyer playing left, batting 7th. Lonnie Chisenhall batting 8th and playing right field, and catching and batting 9th for the Cleveland Indians is going to be Roberto Perez. And this is the exact lineup that the Indians trotted out there in Game 1 of the World Series. Now the visiting Cubs taking the bump for them. Of course, the big guy, the man who started it all, the first huge free agent signing that Theo Epstein made. That is, of course, Big John Lester. A 19-5 win record that season. 2.44 ERA in 32 starts. 197 strikeouts for the big lefty going after this Indians lineup. So as I mentioned in the preamble, we don't have Kyle Schwarber. We don't have Chris Coghlan. So I did a little bit of a homebrew lineup. This isn't the exact lineup that the Cubs trotted out there in Game 1, but it's a pretty darn good lineup. And leading off that lineup is Dexter Fowler playing center field. Batting second is Chris Bryant playing third. Anthony Rizzo playing first, batting third. Ben Zobrist, good to see him back in our fantasy world here. He's the left-hander. He's playing left field and batting fourth. Batting in fifth, Javi Baez, and playing second base. DHing for the Cubs tonight is Miguel Montero, who normally is the catcher, but that belongs to David Ross. We're not to him yet, but he is starting. Next up, Jason Hayward, who in about 6 games from now is going to give the speech of a lifetime in the rain delay that wins the Cubs the World Series, some would argue. There's David Ross batting 8th and catching. And finally, Addison Russell was the starting shortstop, if you recall, for most, if not all, I believe, of the 2016 World Series for the Cubs. So, let's get this thing going. The umpire says play ball. Kluber steps to the mound. Dexter Fowler leading off, and we are about to play Game 1 of the 2016 World Series. Couple things to point out first. We are using a brew of a few different rules. We're using the Super Advanced Weather Effects chart. Although this was in Cleveland, it was a beautiful night that night, as I recall. So we're calling this a good weather game if that roll happens to come up. We're going to be using the Super Advanced Miscellaneous charts for things like bunts, sacrifice bunts, things like that. And we are going to be using the Advanced Fielding chart for this game. So let's kick things off. Corey Kluber on the mound facing Dexter Fowler. He's a switch hitter, so he's batting lefty for this AB. And it is on Dexter's card. Rolls a 12. It's a ground ball to the second baseman, Jason Kipnis. That's an A rate. Easy out. Can of corn. 1 down for the Cubs. Next up is Chris Bryant. He would win the MVP this season and had a pretty good World Series, too. Let's see if he could do it again. Kluber, perfect so far. Again on Bryant's card. Rolls an 8. That's a strikeout. So Kluber picking up exactly where he left off in the 2016 campaign, striking out the MVP. All right, Rizzo, last chance for the Cubs in the first inning. It's on his card again. Rolls an 11. We're going to have to go to the ballpark effects. We are in Cleveland. It's a night game, good weather. So a 1, 2, or 1 through 3, and it's a base hit. Look at that. Base hit. Rizzo is aboard. So the first runner of the game comes courtesy of a base hit by Anthony Rizzo. So Ben Zobrist is up. He would win the World Series MVP. But this is a different universe, as you know, and he's going against Kluber. Another switch hitter in this versatile Cubs lineup. It's going to be on Kluber's card against a lefty. That's a 5. Struck him out. So the Cubs get 1, but they'll strand him at first. And it's 0-0 heading to the bottom of the first. I'll show you really quick what I like to do for my homebrew here. So Kluber's card, he is a 7 on his fatigue rating. So what I like to do here is I draw out 9 innings. And this is for the whole pitching staff. 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's 9. So I'm going to take that number and multiply it by 3. So imagine that's the amount of outs he's going to get before he gets fatigued. So if he's a 7, he gets 21 outs before he's going to get pretty fatigued. So as long as he doesn't allow a run, every out counts as 1, every run counts as 2, and every walk also counts as 1. So if he had an inning where he gave up 1 run and 2 walks, and he got all 3 outs. Well, that's 3 outs. 1 run gives you 2 more, and a walk gives you 1 more. So that would be a -6. So 21 -6, that's how many outs he has left. So there, he was perfect. So he has 18 outs remaining before he is taken out of this game. All right, John Lester goes to work in the bottom of the first against Rajai Davis. Once again, hit one of the biggest home runs in World Series history in a losing effort. And he will have an opportunity against Lester. He will ground it right back to him, scoops it up, throws to first. 1 man up, 1 man down for the Indians. Kipnis up now, lefty versus lefty battle here. There'll be quite a few of those battles in this game. So Lester, it's on Kipnis' card again versus a lefty, rolled an 8, struck him out. So these pitchers pretty much going blow for blow, but here is Francisco Lindor, a young Francisco Lindor, not the Lindor we know now on the Mets, who is one of the biggest contracts in baseball. He was a young guy back then. Still a very good ball player. Switch hitter, so Lester is going to have to look at the right side of his card. We are using lefty-righty splits, if you haven't figured it out. So a 1 through 17 is a base hit, and that's an 11. So Lindor, just as Rizzo kept the inning alive for the Cubs, Lindor gets maybe a little 2-out rally here, but here comes Mike Napoli. Is he a power hitter this season? Oh, hell yeah. 34 home runs for Mike Napoli, who is Cubs' first base coach now, I believe. Yeah, he is first base coach. All right, let's see what Nap can do. Grew up a Cubs fan, by the way. That was the story, at least. All right, it's on his card. Rolls a knot. Uh-oh. And this one is driven to deep left field and gone. A 2-run shot for Jason Kipnis and the Cleveland Indians. Strike first in Game 1 of the World Series, much like the real Game 1 of the 2016 World Series, where they won that game 6-0. Well, they're up 2-0 now, and we're still in the first inning. Carlos Santana will wrap things up, maybe. Let's see. 3 on his card. He rolls a 4. We'll go to the ballpark factor. He's a switch hitter, so in this at-bat, he's a righty. 10 or less, it's a base hit. No good. So we'll count that as a line drive to the shortstop, which is Addison Russell, and that ends the Indians' rally. So Johnny Lester also has a 7, but he gave up a run there, so that's going to be a -5. So Lester already in some early fatigue trouble. It's very early. He's got a lot of time to make that up, so he's got 16 outs left. All right, Kluber up to face the middle of the Cubs lineup, and leading off is Javier Baez, the electric shortstop. And Baez will strike out. Par for the course for Javi Baez. Listen, I have to address something really fast. A lot of my friends accuse me of being a Javi Baez hater, and maybe that's true. I don't know. But the strikeouts always drove me nuts with him, but he was an electric Cubs player. So he strikes out there. Now we got a lefty-righty matchup between Miguel Montero and Corey Kluber. It will be on Kluber's card. Rolls an 11. 1 through 8 is a base hit. That's a 12. So that's going to be lined out to the second baseman, which is Jason Kipnis. So 2 quick outs for the Klubot. And last chance here in the second is Jason Hayward. And Hayward draws a walk. Okay, so these 2-out rallies, all of our base hits have come, base hits or base runners in general, have all come with 2 outs for both teams. So interesting here. All right, here's David Ross playing in what will be the final 7 games of his career. Of course, he is now the Cubs manager. But for right now, we're turning back the clock to 2016. And Rossi, it'll be on his card. It's an 8. That's another walk. Back-to-back walks by Corey Kluber. So the Cubs have a little action brewing here. 2-out rally, maybe. 2 on, 2 out. Here is Addison Russell. They trail by 2. 2-0 Cleveland. And Russell will pop it up. Lindor glides under into the infield, and that is the end of that. So Kluber will walk a couple. So add 2 more there, so that's a -5 for him. So he's still okay. He's got 13 outs left before he is fatigued. All right, here comes Cleveland looking to extend that lead. They lead 2-0, and Jose Ramirez leads off. Switch hitter again, so he rolls an 8. That's a fly ball to center field. Nobody's on base, so the B doesn't matter. Can of corn for Dexter Fowler, 1 away. Here's Brendan Geyer. And Geyer, it'll be on Lester's card again, rolls a 6. That's a base hit. So Geyer gets aboard, so finally we have a base runner with less than 2 outs. And it is Geyer. Let's see if the Cubs can get a double play here for the left-hander Lonnie Chisenhall. Do I want to bunt Chisenhall here? What's his bunt rating? He's a C. No, I don't want to do that. All right, so I'm just going to have him hit away. So I'm managing for both teams. We haven't had to make a managerial decision yet, so we'll just let it swing away. It's against a lefty, a 4. It'll go to the catcher's card, so David Ross is a 3E4. 3E4, so we'll roll again. 3E4. Rolls a 7. That's a pop out, so it'll go up the elevator shaft, caught by David Ross. I'm not going to send the runner Geyer on first, so he's going to hold there for the next batter. So it's one on, 2 outs. Here is Roberto Perez, the catcher, batting 9th for Cleveland. Do I want to run Geyer? No, he's not a good steal rating, so no, we'll just play this out. All right, it's on Lester's card. Rolls a 9, struck him out. And down go the Indians, so that 2-run lead will stay intact. And Lester is now even. Look at that. Is now even. I gave up 2 runs. Did I do that math correct? No, I did that right. Okay. All right. Leading off is the leadoff man, Dexter Fowler. So top of the order for the Cubs. Fowler 0 for 1 with a ground out to Kipnis. And this time he will strike out on Kluber. That is another K. How many is that already for Kluber? 3, I think. Let's see. It's 4. 4 for the Kluber. All right, here's the MVP, Chris Bryant. 0 for 1 with a strikeout. It's on his card. 10. This could be a home run. We go to the ballpark effects. He rolled a 5. What is it? What is it? He's a righty. It's gone. So Chris Bryant sends one into the left field bleachers, and the Cubs are on the board. It's 2-1 in the top of the 3rd inning. So both pitchers have been tagged now. So the Indians don't get the shutout like they got in the real Game 1 of the 2016 World Series. So the Cubs are on the board. It's 2-1, and here is Anthony Rizzo. It'll be on his card. Roll the 5. That's a fly ball in a right field. And he is retired. So now, last chance is Ben Zobrist. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Oh, triple ones. That's a single and a right. Another 2-out rally, perhaps. So Zobrist is on. Baez is up. His hit and run is a D. So I'm just going to roll the dice and hopefully Javi pops one over the right field fence here. That'd be nice. So I'm going to have him hit away. No, it's 2 outs. I don't want to bunt him. All right, so he's going to swing away. 5, roll the 4. Catcher's card, so he's probably going to be out. Well, first of all, let's check the catcher, Roberto Perez. He is a 1-1, so that's the best you can get. So 1-1, he rolls an 11, so that's going to come down to E1, roll the 6, so that's just a ground ball. Perez scoops, throws to first, inning over, but the Cubs get 1 run back. It is 2-1 heading into the bottom of the 3rd. So that's 9 left. 9 outs left for Kluber. Lester will come back out. Not even thinking about bullpens yet. It's way too early in this contest. So Rajai Davis, the leadoff man, will come up to face the big lefty John Lester, and he's going to poke one into left field for a base hit. Now, he is a hell of a base stealer, and I think I'm going to send him. Yeah, I'm going to send him. And I got a little thing. Yeah, I'm going to send him. All right, so first thing we're going to look at is, does he get a good jump? So he does get a good jump if I roll a 2 through 6 or a 12. Oh, hell yeah, he got the jump, so it's 19. And, yeah, Lester can't hold him. He's a +8. Ross, he's a -2. He's still going to get it, so that's a I don't even have to roll. A stolen base for Rajai Davis, and that'll bring up Jason Kipnis. And if you have any questions or anything, by the way, if you're a new Strat gamer, what really helped me out when I first started playing this game is watching YouTube videos just like this and asking a bunch of questions. So if you have any questions, if did anything look a little weird to you, just put a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer. All right, Kipnis is up. His hit and run is a B, and he's got, and the next 2 runners actually are B. So I might get a little squirrely here and try and hit. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and hit and run here with Jason Kipnis. So what happens on a hit and run, he's a B rating. So I come over to the super advanced hit and run chart and I roll off the B column. So he has a potential to get Rajai Davis home. Here we go. Rolled an 8. He's out. So ground ball C. So Kipnis is going to ground out, but that's going to move Davis over to third. So now a fly ball brings him home with only 1 out. So this is working out beautifully for the Indians. Lester here, what does he do? Or what does Lindor do? Lindor's going to swing away because a base hit makes this 3-1. A ground out possibly makes this 3-1. Thought about walking him, but no, I'm going to play it out. And it's on his card against the lefty. Roll the 6. It's a fly ball into center field with a question mark. So that means Dexter Fowler, no help. So what happened there is it was a fly ball to center. I checked the center fielder's arm. In this case, he is 0. So Rajai Davis, as long as I roll between a 1 and a 17, he is coming home on a sac fly. And he's got it. All right, so we'll book Lindor for a sac fly. In comes Mr. Rajai Davis, and it's 3-1 Indians with Mike Napoli up. So, hey, small ball baseball, well executed by Cleveland, and they go up 3-1 on the Cubs. All right, 2 against the lefty. Roll the 10. That's a strikeout. So the Cubs, minimal damage, well executed baseball by the Indians. Another run comes off the board. Did he give up a walk there? Did Lester walk somebody? No, he didn't. All right, so 3 minus 5. So he's already down to an 8. So we may be getting to the bullpens early here. Kluber against Miguel Montero, lefty-righty matchup. Montero 0 for 1 with a line drive over to second. Roll the 1-8. That is a ground out. Who else but Jason Kipnis? So Montero's gone up to the bat twice, and twice it fell into the glove of Jason Kipnis. All right, Jason Hayward now, who should be a lefty on my scorecard there. Hayward against Kluber. Kluber walked him in his first plate appearance. And this time, he's going to get him to ground out to first. So, Cubs whimpering here in the 4th inning. Not a lot of action. Here's David Ross. Ross, a strikeout. Man, Kluber is dealing. Cubs go down in order in the 4th inning. All right. This might be Lester's last inning here. We're only in the fourth, bottom of the fourth, so he'll have Santana, Ramirez, and Brandon Geyer. If he can go 1, 2, 3. 4 against a switch, so he's a righty this at-bat. Roll the 5, struck him out. 1 down for Cleveland. Here's Jose Ramirez. Flew out to Dexter Fowler in his first at-bat. In his second at-bat, it 1 through 11 was a single. It's not. Instead, he lines out to Addison Russell for the second out. 2 down for the Indians. Last chance for them in the inning is Brandon Geyer, who is 1 for 1. And he's going to be 2 for 2. That is a double from Geyer. So Geyer pulls into second base. Indians are cooking. 5 hits already in the ball game. Getting that offense going early. Lester needs to get out of this unscathed here. He'll have another lefty to contend with. It's Lonnie Chisenhall. Let's see what happens. Line drive to second, Max, but that was the last out of the inning anyway. So if there were 2 on, for example, and no outs, that would have been a triple play. You don't see that very often. So, all right, Lester matches Kluber that inning, goes 1, 2, 3. So we got a pitching duel of sorts, even though it's a 3-1 ball game. Russell up and then top of the order for the Cubs. It's on his card. Rolls a 3. That's a ground out to Lindor. 1 down. And here's Fowler, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Oh, this could be... Oh, my God. It's on the 2 column, which if you could see that every single one but 2 is something. A walk, a hit, a home run. Nope. He rolled the 7. That is a ground ball to Kipnis, who tosses it over to the first baseman for the second out. So 2 down for the Cubs. Chris Bryant, who homered in his last at-bat, is up. Rolls a 5. That's a ground ball to the shortstop. So the first one we've had all game where we got to check the defensive card. And Lindor is a 112. That's about as good as you can get. So 112. Rolls a 9. Go down to 12. So we got to look at a 10. So yep, he's out. That's a ground ball out to Lindor. And the Cubs go down 1, 2, and 3. All right, Cubs go down quietly. So Lester, he has 5 outs left, so I think this is actually going to be his final inning. And he's got Roberto Perez then back to the top of the order, so I think he can handle this, and I do really like the Cubs bullpen, so I don't mind going to it early, especially in a 2-run game. It hasn't gone on a hand by any means, but that could have been danger. Instead, Perez is going to ground out to Bryant at third. Throws it across the diamond for the first out. Here comes Rajay Davis. 3-1, bottom of the 5th. Davis rolls a 7. That's a ground ball to second. That's Baez. I know he's a 1. He is. So it's a 1E23. So just about anything, if we get it on the 1 column, is an out. So let's see. Roll the 14. I don't know if that came off the camera or not. A 14. That's an out. Sure is. So remember those memes back then when the Cubs were... I don't know what happened to my scorecard here. All right, here we go. 80% of the earth is covered by water. The other 20% is covered by Javi Baez. God, he was so good at second base back then. He was good, pretty good shortstop too. Always liked him at second though. All right, Jason Kipnis is up. He's 0 for 2. 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th. Rolls a 5. Struck him out. So Lester, if that is his, and I think it will be, if that is his last inning, not bad. He's got 5 strikeouts. So Lester, just filling out my scorecard here. He's got 2 outs left, so I may bring him a little bit into the 6th inning here. All right, Cubs need some offense. They're down by 2. Kluber has 3 outs to give before he's fatigued. And he's got to contend with Anthony Rizzo, who is 1 for 2 with the base hit. Rolls a 5. That's a walk. Okay, maybe a little something brewing. Rizzo gets on. Not a stolen base threat by any means. Don't want to pinch run him either. It's way too early for that. So Zobrist is going to hit away. Cleveland's, yeah, they're not going to do anything either. Okay, let's just see what happens here. Ben Zobrist is up. Zobrist rolls a 6. It's a fly ball in the center with a B, so that's basically a deep fly ball that will move Rizzo to second. So here comes Javi Baez, and how goofy do I want to get here? Because I feel like Baez, it's a strikeout or a home run with him. And he's already 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. He's got an A on his bunt rating, so I'm not guaranteed, but I have a really good chance to get Rizzo over to third. But but that would make it 2 outs, and I don't think he's going to beat out the run. So I'm going to have him hit away and hope that I can get a little offense here with Montero or Hayward on the back end. So let's see what happens. 5, that's going to be on Kluber's card. Rolls an 8. Oh, he just missed the double. Instead, it's a fly ball to center field B. So I guess it worked out either way. So Baez flies out the center, but Rizzo's going to get over to third. So, mission accomplished, I guess. I would rather him got on, but that works. So Rizzo is into third. Montero is up with 2 outs. He's the DH, so I have some flexibility here. Do I take my shot here and maybe throw in Almora? Or, no, I know what I'm going to do. Or do I want to stick with the lefty-righty match? No. I'm going to have my first pinch hit of the game. And it's going to be Wilson Contreras, pinch hitting for Miguel Montero. So let me go over to my score sheet, add a sub, and it's going to be Wilson Contreras. Bats righty, throws righty. So we'll have him pinch hit. And let's see if Contreras, who would go on to actually start some World Series games, coming off the bench tonight to relieve Miguel Montero at DH. It's on his card. Roll the 9. That's a strikeout. Man. All right, didn't work out, but I'm not gonna take him out, so he's got a few more cracks at it. So Kluber goes down to a 0 on his fatigue. So if I decide to bring Kluber back out, anytime I roll something with one of these dots, that's a base hit. And I have a homebrew rule that the more that number grows into the negative, the worse it becomes. So once it gets to 3 or more, so -3 or lower, those aren't base hits, those are doubles. -4 or lower are triples, and anything after that's a home run. So Cleveland, I think they'll turn it over to the bullpen, but we don't have to worry about that yet. We got to figure out what to do with John Lester. Let's see. What are my options for the 2016 Cubbies? I mean, they've got a loaded bullpen. I don't want to bring out Chapman in a non-save situation, so we'll save him for later. Mike Montgomery, who got the last out of the Game 7 of the World Series. Justin Grimm, Travis Wood. A young Carl Edwards Jr. wouldn't be bad. In the real game, I believe Pedro Strop was the first out of the lineup. Or maybe it was Rondon. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to... We've got a lefty... Well, he's a switch hitter. I'm going to have Lester go after Lindor here because he still does have 2 outs to give. And we'll see how this goes. This may backfire on me. All right, 6 against a righty. Rolls a 7. That's a ground ball to second. I know that's Baez. So, and I know he's a 1. So this should be an out. Ooh, 1 on a 19. Yep, I know that's an out. Okay, so that worked out well. He's got 1 out left against Mike Napoli, a righty. So now, there we go. Okay, Lester's out. Thank you, Johnny. Fantastic outing. Not fantastic. Well, let's look at the stats real quick. So, yeah, not great. 5.06 ERA, 5 Ks, no walks. 3 earned runs, faced 21 batters. Not bad. Not the worst. Who are we bringing out? So whoever I bring out, I want him out there for about an inning and a half, roughly. So who's a good bridge guy? We'll go with the young guy. We'll go with Carl Edwards Jr. That's who I'm bringing in to pitch for the Cubs. Carl Edwards Jr. is on, and he's got a tall order here. He's got to go Mike Napoli, then 2 switch hitters in Santana and Ramirez if we get to Ramirez. So Napoli up, Santana on deck. It's on his card, rolls a 4. Oh, no! Wow, Napoli goes deep again. Home run, his second of the game. That backfired. Holy cow. 4-1 Cleveland. Bad move. I'm going to stick with Edwards. Damn. Even though, so when you go, remember, it's this number in the brackets there, 1 times 3, so 3 minus 2. He's only got 1 out to give left, and there's 2 outs to get, so I'm going to leave him out there. I mean, can't really get worse than that, I guess. So, again, it's on his card, this time against a lefty. Rolled a 6. That'll get it done. That's a strikeout. And now his tall order again, Jose Ramirez. Come on, Edwards. It's on Ramirez's card. Rolls a 9. That's a base hit. Let me redo that. Sorry. That is a base hit. All right. Man, so still has 1 out to give. We'll let him close the inning. He's against 2 for 2 Brandon Guyer. Guyer can't go 3 for 3, can he? I suppose he can. 6, rolled a 9. That's a ground ball to the shortstop. So that's Addison Russell. Russell is a 1 on his rating. All right. Roll the 5. That's an out. So Edwards gets out of the inning after a little more damage done. And we are on to the 7th. Getting late. Cubs need some offense here. Let's see. And what are we going to do about this guy? Well, I guess you could build the bridge, right? And get Clevenger, but he was more of a long relief guy, wasn't he? Yeah, 53 innings pitched. He's a long reliever back then. Cody Allen and Andrew Miller, we're going to save them for the 8th and 9th. Does Kluber go 1 more? It's the bottom of the lineup. You know what? I think they're going to send Kluber out there for 1 more. Even though he doesn't have a lot of those dots on his card, so he's going to go for it. So Kluber's going to pitch the 7th. Right now, any one of these dots is just a single. So, and he's going through the bottom of the lineup, which has not been productive. So Hayward's first. Roll the 4. That's the catcher's card. So Perez is a 1-1. The best it gets at catcher. 1-1. Roll the 4. Wild pitch, but that doesn't matter because nobody's on. So Hayward just pops it up the chute, and he is gone for out number 1. And that'll bring up David Ross. Do I want... Nope. I guess I already burned my possible catcher there with Montero. So Ross is going to have to go, even though he's not catching for Lester anymore. Lester's been pulled. So Kluber against Ross. And David Ross rolls a 10. He's going to bounce it right back to Kluber, who throws it to first for the 2nd out. Man, aside from Chris Bryant's solo home run, the Cubs offense is anemic exactly how the real game one went, as I recall. Although they got shut out that game. All right, Addison Russell, last chance in the 7th. 212, 12. That's a base hit. All right, little something. Base hit, Addison Russell. And the leadoff man, Fowler, is up. Switch hitter, they'll stick with Kluber. 4, 5, 4, 5. Struck him out. Did his job. All right. Cubs go down with a whimper. All right, we're in the 7th, so let's start getting a little creative. Can't go back to Mr. Carl Edwards, so we're going to go with Mike Montgomery, the lefty, to face the lefty Lonnie Chisenhall. So Mike Montgomery, as you recall, ended up, there's your trivia question, who was the Cubs pitcher on the mound for the final out of the 2016 World Series? And it was this guy right here, Mike Montgomery. And he will take the mound here in the bottom of the 7th. His team is down by 3. It's the bottom half of the Indians lineup. Rolls a 6. It's a ground ball to second with an underlined A. So that's easy out. Can of corn, as they say, for Javi Baez. Roberto Perez is up. The catcher, 0 for 2. You know, I'm not managing the Indians as well as I'm managing the Cubs. Is there anyone worth taking a look at for a pinch? I could do Yan Gomes at catcher, who's a Cub now. Now, you know what? Let Roberto Perez go here because he's still catching for Kluber. 6, 7. Ground ball to second. That's Baez again. I know that's a 1E23. I know that's an out. So 2 down. Here is Rajay Davis for Mike Montgomery. Here we go. It's on his card. Roll the 5. He walked him. 0 for 3. Jason Kipnis up with Davis on at first. And he's going to try the hit and run. Why not? 2 outs. They're up. He's going to go for it. Hit and run is on. He is a B. You get the speedster, Davis. Rolls an 8 again. Then again is a ground out to second for the final out. So it doesn't work out for him. And that's that. Let's go to the 8th inning. And now Cleveland is going to go to the bullpen. We'll start with Andrew Miller. So a fantastic outing for Mr. Corey Kluber, but we'll get to him in just a second. Let's read this off really quick. Kluber, 1 run, 7 Ks, 4 hits, 3 walks, a 1.29 ERA on 28 batters faced. Absolutely, he lived up to his nickname, the Klubot. Absolutely fantastic. Turns it over to Andrew Miller in the 8th. The Cubs need 3. And this is probably their best chance with Bryant, Rizzo, and Zobrist due up. So Miller basically playing the role of closer here, trying to get the 2 out of the best 3 Cubs hitters in the lineup. So first is Bryant, rolls an 8, strikes him out. So Bryant goes down swinging for the first out in the 8th inning. Here's Rizzo. Struck him out. My God. Andrew Miller blowing gas up there. Woo! 2 punchies on 2 batters faced. Zobrist now, last chance for the Cubs. Rolls a 7. That's a strikeout with a dot, but he's not fatigued. So 1, 2, 3. Miller gets the job done, and the Cubs are getting blanked in the last 6 innings here. And they're going to turn it over. No, Montgomery. No, they're going to stick with Montgomery. Let's save Strop and those guys for tomorrow. Or the next game, rather. So Lindor is up against Montgomery. Rolls a 7. That's a ground out with an A+, so an easy out to Addison Russell. Napoli up now. Might start thinking about walking Mike Napoli. They'll go after him. Strikes him out. All right, Montgomery doing his job. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Carlos Santana 0 for 3. Montgomery after him. It's on Santana's card. Rolls an 8. That's a ground ball to Bryant. And here we go. 9th inning. Last chance for the Cubs. They'll bring in the closer, Cody Allen, to shut things down. And let's see if Cleveland can hang on to this 4-1 lead. Here in the 9th inning. Again, they won the real game 1, 6-0. So the Cubs are at least making it a game. But they need 3 runs, and they need them all right here, or they will go down 1-0 in the series once again. So, first up, Javi Baez, 0 for 3. Strikeout, fly out, ground out. Here it comes. Roll the 7. That's another strikeout. So, Baez an 0 for night. And here is Wilson Contreras. I pinched him earlier in the game. And he struck out. Let's see what he can do here against Cody Allen. It's on his card. Struck him out again. Good Lord. The Indians are hot. All right, this is it. Top of the 9th, 2 outs. Cleveland leads it 4-1. The Cubs need a big rally here. And, oh man. I got 2 guys I can go to on the bench. We've got a 357 on base in Tommy La Stella. So Hayward's the worst guy in terms of on base percentage. So I am gonna pinch hit him. And I am gonna go with always open Tommy La Stella to see if he can get some magic here in game 1. This is it. Last chance for the Cubs. Need a huge rally, and they've got no outs left. So this is it. Allen the pitch. Fly ball into left field. Brandon Geyer gliding under it, and he's got it. And Cleveland takes game 1 of the 2016 World Series replay by a score of 4-1. The winning pitcher is going to be Corey Kluber. The loss charge to John Lester. The Cubs only mustered 4 hits. They left 6 on base, however, 1 run. That was the Bryant home run. The Indians, meanwhile, 4 runs off 7 hits. They left 4 on. A huge first inning. They got 2 there. They got another in the 3rd, another in the 6th, and that's how they won this game. All right, we'll be back later with game 2 of the 2016 replay. Is it going to play out exactly how the real thing did? Are the Cubs about to go down 3-1 and they're going to have to come back? I don't know. Well, they lost the real game 1. They lost game 1 tonight. Game 2 is next. In that game, we've got Kyle Hendricks going for the Cubs, and we're going to have, who's up here? Trevor Bauer for the Indians. I'm leaving Jake Arrieta for game 3 back at Wrigley Field. Hopefully the Cubs don't go down 0-2. They won the real game 2 back then. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Indians take this one 4-1 in game 1 of the 2016 World Series replay.